Jeepers Creepers is written and directed by Salva and stars Justin Long, Gina Phillips, and Jonathan Breck as the Creeper. And it's the story of these two siblings, brother and sister, who are driving home on this long, empty highway. They get harassed by this giant, creepy-ass truck. It really freaks them out. And then later on down the highway, they drive past this old church and they see that same truck. That dude is dumping what looks like bodies down an old pipe. And when they investigate, they discover some horrible things and then are pursued, stalked, hunted by the Creeper. And this movie is, in fact, one of my favorite horror movies of all time. It means a lot to me personally. It's a movie that's really, it's been with me for a long time, since I was a young lad, a little 10, 11-year-old boy, something like that. It was one of my earliest exposures to the horror genre, and it's really stuck with me ever since and become very much a favorite of mine, a classic. I really think it's an iconic classic movie. I love this movie a lot, but I came here ready to be critical and point out any things like, hey, maybe that's not so good. So I went in, but still very excited. I love this movie. I've seen it countless times. I think all the actors in this do a very good job. Justin Long, I love that dude in everything. Accepted, Dodgeball, Live Free or Die Hard, Tusk. I love the guy in everything I see him in. Gina Phillips, I haven't seen her in anything else besides this, but I think she fits very well in this role as the bitchy sister to Justin Long. They're very good, and they feel very realistic. They feel like brothers and sisters. They have that sibling rivalry, and they're fighting a lot. I bought into it. It felt very real. And then Jonathan Breck as the Creeper, really damn good. His physicality, his personality he brings to the role. You don't see a lot of the Creeper. They try to keep him mysterious and in shadows, and you don't see him a lot, but when you do, like, he's able to add some personality and a lot of creepiness. And then the writer-director, Salva, yeah, he has some personal issues. He went to jail, served time, okay? But the movie itself, his direction and writing, I thought was fantastic and phenomenal. The direction in this, really, really good because it's like a classic suspense film. It's a thriller for the first half, and then it switches and becomes something else in the second half. And the first half is masterful. I think it is perfect. Like, really, the first 35 minutes or 40 minutes, something like that, is amazing. When they first get harassed by the truck, it's so spooky. They're driving and it's just a shot of them and then you see behind them. And he does this a lot in this movie and in the sequel too, where things are out of focus. Like the focus, it's a little bit out of the depth of field, so it's blurry, but you still see it. And so when the truck is slowly down the highway, it's just getting closer and closer and like, oh, that thing's really coming up on them. And that's right there and that creepy horn. It's like Duel. It's like Steven Spielberg's Duel. This little car versus a big-ass truck, and that's what it is. And then it becomes something else. They find this house of pain and the disturbing shit in there. And then the movie's like, oh shit, like the part where they're driving past the old church and they see, oh shit, there's that truck again. And there's that dude, and what is he doing? He's throwing like bloody-looking rags. Is that a body wrapped in sheets? What is that? He's throwing it down a pipe. That's creepy enough, and then like he stops and he sees them, and it's just a long take of like them driving past down the highway and him just looking at them, and there's trees in the way obstructing your view. That is so creepy. That is actually kind of terrifying. That shot gave me chills when I saw it. The suspense, the build-up, it's all really good. It's all really effective. And then the second half, like when the movie switches and becomes something else, it's still really damn good. He still has a great level of build-up. Creepiness, horror. It's not like gonna give me nightmares, but it's still horrifying and scary in a lot of ways. There's a lot of great moments in this, but it is weaker. The first half is very strong and I have no flaws with it. The filmmaking, the acting, the writing, everything about it is very much perfect and fantastic. Second half, but it's not as good. Like, it goes down a bit. It becomes more of a B movie, but more silly at times. Some elements come in that's like, okay, this isn't entirely working. I still like it, but it's weaker. It is a weaker half of the movie, and I can see why it would turn people off, because like the first half is solid, and the second half is good, but it's weaker. We get a psychic lady coming in to explain everything to us, even though there's a part in the same part of the movie that kind of just visually is telling us rules of the Creeper and how he operates and what's up with him. We kind of get that visually told to us, but she's still here to explain it. I get it, but it's not very good when you have to bring in a psychic lady to tell us everything. And then some of the, like, it's just the situation with the finale a little bit is a little bit silly and just B-movie, lesser, not as good. Especially when you consider one of the rules is like, when you hear the song Jeepers Creepers, that means he's coming to get you and you gotta run. It's like, I don't even know how that works. Okay, he's coming for you and that ties in with the radio, so now that song will start playing. I don't get it. It makes no sense, but it's so vague and mysterious that it still has an impact. And then the finale itself is fun. I still like, it maybe at a certain point loses the scares, but it still stays like bleak. Like, it's maybe kind of fun in a B-movie way, but it's bleak, it's depressing, it's not a happy ending. It's like, well, shit. The movie leaves you feeling very unsettled, and that's a good thing in horror movies, to leave you just feeling off and gross and like, yeah, you gotta go take a shower because you just don't feel good. Jeepers Creepers is a movie I adore. I love. It's got such a great tone and atmosphere, creepiness, eeriness, and just imagery itself. Sometimes you see the creeper, it's just like, that's, ugh. And this does become like a monster movie. It's like, it's really good. I enjoy it. You could argue maybe it's tonally like, it goes from a nice thriller to more of a monster movie thing. I think it's a smooth transition. There's no bumps in the road. There's no truck trying to ram me in the ass, you know? It felt like one led into the other. It didn't feel abrupt or like it wasn't earned. It felt like they went together well. I feel like the transition worked as it goes from a thriller to more of a monster movie. I appreciate that we're changing it up and it's not just going to be the same thing, because drawing out like this whole thriller road chase type movie, I don't feel like that might have worked for a whole 90 minutes or whatever. So we're changing it, flipping it on its head, becomes something totally different. Sadly, the change is a weaker movie than the first part, but I still like it. And I love it. I love the mythology of the creeper. I love everything about it. The music, yeah, Jeepers Creepers, the creepy truck, his look, all of it, I love. And this movie has so many iconic scenes. The 2 truck chases, the House of Pain, the part with the cops going to the old church and some bad shit happens. I don't want to spoil it all, so if you haven't seen it, I won't ruin it for you, but so much stuff. The finale, there's a lot of memorable stuff to this that really stuck with me and I'll never forget. And the movie also has a good dark sense of humor. Like the one scene, there's a scene that takes place on the highway at night. There's a billboard in the background. I don't want to spoil it, but it's just like, that is fucked up. That is disturbing. That's horrifying. And it's very funny. Jeepers Creepers is a movie I love, but it's not perfect. And rewatching it, I can definitely say it's not perfect. It's still, when I think of it, I think a lot of positive things. I still really love the movie, but it's not perfect. Unlike other ones I've talked about recently where it's like, I love it. Going back, the flaws are maybe a little lesser. Those are also, like Halloween and Psycho, those are older movies, so maybe I go easy on them because they're older. So like the 60s, there's a big exposition scene in that too, but it's the 60s, so they thought everyone was dumb. I probably should have called that out too and maybe been a little more negative on that part. I kind of forgot. Sorry. But this, it's a movie I love, but I will acknowledge its flaws. But I still really enjoy it. I think it's a great thriller, monster movie. And it's not inconsistent. It's not like they don't mesh. They go together well, but it just gets weaker. It just loses a little bit in the second half. But it finishes strong. Like the finale end thing is like, yeah, it's still good, but then it gets like really strong at the very end, and it's like, oh, now Jeepers Creepers is still one of my favorite horror movies. I still really enjoy it. I think the filmmaking on display is really good. Fantastic. I like the acting. The creeper is a menacing villain and really damn good. It's suspenseful, it's terrifying, it's funny, darkly funny, and at times it gives you some B-movie fun to enjoy. It's a little bit of everything, and do they all flow together at times? Yeah, weird elements with musical cues that I don't know where that comes from. A psychic lady, and we got a cat lady here, but even the fucking cat lady scene, really creepy still. So even if it is lesser, they still manage to get in a lot of creepiness and suspense in it, and I still really enjoy Jeepers Creepers. I still think it's a fantastic movie. Just like I'm able to admit, it's got some flaws. I still love it. When you love something, you take it and you hug it and you're like, it's okay that you got some negatives. I'd give Jeepers Creepers an A-. I still think it's a phenomenal movie. A modern horror classic, really, and it's got some flaws. I still think it's pretty damn great. Comment below, tell me your thoughts on Jeepers Creepers. And thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time when I talk Jeepers Creepers 2.